Right now, there is a lot of uncertainty in the state of Missouri with the indictment yesterday of Missouri Governor Eric Greitens. We have Matthew Harris, who is an assistant professor of political science at Park University, who is with us today. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming. So let's just get right into it. Were you surprised that he was indicted?
Well, you know, the news didn't come as a complete shock because obviously there was a story that broke in January. The thing that I think was a bit surprising to me is just how quickly the story has turned for Eric Greitens. You know, this is a guy really out of central casting. Second youngest governor in the nation, Navy SEAL, Rhodes Scholar, and really a rising star in the GOP to the point that the Republican Governors Association was tweeting about him just yesterday morning. And then this news breaks. So
what is this going to mean then now for the Republican Party? Let's talk about that.
Well, in the state of Missouri, I would say there's really kind of three angles to this. Obviously, there's the criminal case. It's never a good thing to be indicted. But there's kind of two other pieces, which number one is how is this going to play in Jeff City? And I think part of the problem for Eric Greitens is that he ran a campaign that was really about cleaning up the corruption in Jeff City, which when you need friends when it comes to something like calling for your resignation or potentially impeachment, that's tough when you've been referring to legislators in Jeff City as third graders. And then the other piece of it is how is it going to play with the base? And I think if the lessons of Bill Clinton and all the way up to President Trump have taught us anything, it's that the people who really like Eric Greitens will probably continue to like him. The people who, dislike him probably continue to dislike him, and there may be some movement in the middle.
That's an interesting point. What is next for the state? Because, we're all wondering, should he resign? Will he resign? What happens then? Lots of different questions, lots of angles to this story.
Right. I think that really what's going to be interesting is to see how it plays out. Obviously, he's indicted, and there's the grand jury did see some evidence, but you also know the old slogan or the old cliche that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. So I think what comes next is clear that from the response from the Missouri GOP that they're going to fight it. It looks like Governor Greitens will remain governor, and there's just a lot of information that still has to come out.
So I had a story earlier that said no Missouri governor has ever been impeached because it is a long process. Speak to that and what you think would happen. Is that even a possibility because of the process?
Well, looking at some of the tweets and statements from people out of the Missouri House who would be the first step in the impeachment process, it looks like they're not too happy with Governor Greitens. The one interesting thing about the Missouri impeachment process that's different from a lot of states is that once it goes out of the House, it doesn't go to the Senate. It actually goes to a panel of 7 judges who would be selected by the Senate.
So what are your students saying? Have you had a class yet since the indictment? Have you been able to talk with them just through the hallways and there on the campus at Park?
Unfortunately, no. The story broke just as I was leaving campus yesterday, so I'm really excited to get back there. I'll be back there later this afternoon and see what the students have to say.
So is this a teachable moment, and what are you saying to your students? What is the message?
It's teachable in the sense that one of the things we always talk about is sort of, does personal character matter? Do these things that happen outside of office matter? Obviously, there's a criminal element, a criminal angle as well. But so that's the part that'll be teachable, I think, is talking about, do we care as citizens?
And should we care? Should we care?
I mean, I think we should, but that's up to each of us to kind of make that decision, right?
All right, thanks so much, Matt, for coming. Park University, assistant professor of political science. I know you've got a big day ahead, and I know you want to get back to your students and find out what they're thinking and saying about the indictment of Missouri Governor Eric Greitens. Thanks so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you.